Hi, it's Kevin Lebates here, and today I thought I would provide another engineering post rather than talking specifically about blockchain. And the topic I'm going to talk about is minimum viable products, because it's an area that I've made mistakes in the past, and it's an area where I continue to see other people make mistakes. So the issue with minimum viable products is that if you approach them as an engineer, you're going to make a mistake. You're going to look and you're going to think, oh, okay, the code needs to be able to do this and this and this, and then as an engineer, I reckon that that's a good first stab at the product. But minimum viable products should not be about engineering. It should be about sales and marketing. And I'm going to illustrate this by looking at LinkedIn, the platform that you're currently probably watching this on. It's either that or YouTube. And when you look at LinkedIn, it was founded back in the early 2000s. So it's now coming up for at least 15 years of age. In Silicon Valley, I think it was Mountain View or Palo Alto, one of those towns anyway. And it currently has 500 million registered users, and 250 million of those are logging into the platform every month. And then there's about 3 million people who actually post content. So when you look at the software platform and you think to yourself, this thing is 1.5 decades old, and then you look at how it functions, it's totally broken from an engineering perspective. For example, comment threading doesn't work. If you get more than 10 posts on more than 10 comments on one of your posts, I challenge you to find a comment that somebody made that you see in your notifications without a lot of cursing and clicking. Similarly, the number stats for things like how many video views you got are totally screwy as well. Sorry, apparently a lot of swans have turned up here. Anyway, the stats are totally broken as well. It'll say that your video got 8 views, and then you click on it and it turns out that actually you got 386. So any engineer looking at that is gonna say this is not a minimum viable product. We've been able to do comment threading since the 80s with Usenet news feeds. Why can't LinkedIn do it? And the answer is they're not looking at this from an engineering perspective. They're looking at it from a marketing and sales perspective. So marketing is about getting users onto the platform from LinkedIn's perspective, and sales is about getting those users to actually spend money on the platform. So when the sales and marketing team look at making LinkedIn viable as a product, from their perspective, the product is the advertising and the premium accounts. And if something isn't going to increase the user base or get those users to spend more money on the platform, then it's of lower priority than something that will. So they're going to look at LinkedIn and say, well, we could either spruce up the targeted advertising feature, or we could promote the product more, or we could spend some time fixing the analytics. And if they are sensible business people, which I am guessing they are, then things like fixing comment threading are going to get put on the back burner, because it's much better to add a new advertising feature that will make them more money. And when you're coming up with your product, you have to think the same way. Get out of the engineering mindset, which is, I want this all to work. Cut back the coding and the software base as much as you can to start with, because the more code you have, the more people you need to maintain it, the more bugs there will be. A minimum viable product has to have the minimal amount of code in it to reduce your engineering costs, so you can focus on the aim of your company, which is actually to make money. So that is the point I'm trying to make. Get your perspective right on minimum viable product. It's a sales and marketing question, not an engineering question. The only engineering question is, how little engineering can I do so that the system actually doesn't actively stop users from using my system and spending money on it. I hope that clarified the issue. It's one that I have to revisit myself again, because I tend to come at things from an engineering perspective, and it's hard when you're an engineer to realize that it's actually money that makes the world go round, and that it's the business approach that's the important one. I hope that was interesting and useful for you, and see you again in the next video soon. Bye for now.